You know that feeling, right? You're just kind of mindlessly scrolling through your phone, and then you close the app and you just feel worse. It's that constant nagging comparison game, and honestly, it's exhausting. But what if there's a really simple but powerful way to stop that? Well, today, we're going to talk about something called the museum method.
Wow. This quote, it just gets right to the heart of the whole problem, doesn't it? We see somebody's big success, their perfect-looking life, and boom, we immediately put our own journey right up against it. We totally forget that we're all on completely different pages, in totally different chapters. It's a comparison that is just fundamentally unfair to ourselves. I mean, really think about it for a second. Have you ever been deep in a scroll hole, looking at all the perfect vacation photos, the big career wins, the flawless family pictures, and you just feel this pit in your stomach? If you have, you are so not alone. So let's unpack exactly why that happens.
So here's the thing. The source of all this anxiety, it's not some personal failing on your part. It's actually a built-in problem with how social media works. We're basically fighting a battle that we are set up to lose because the rules are rigged from the start.
This right here breaks it down perfectly. Okay, so on one side, you have your real life, the full movie, right? All the ups, the downs, the messy parts, the breakdowns, the raw, unfiltered moments. And on the other side, you have someone's highlight reel. It's basically a carefully edited audition tape showing only their absolute best moments and their best angles.
And that's what it boils down to. We're taking our entire, complex, multi-chapter book of a life and holding it up against one single, beautifully photoshopped page from someone else's. I mean, when you put it like that, you realize just how absurd and damaging that is. So, how do we stop?
All right, that brings us to the solution, the museum method. Now, this isn't about, deleting all your apps or going off the grid completely. It's much simpler. It's a powerful shift in your mindset, a little protocol to help you reclaim your mental space and your self-worth.
So, here's the core idea. We have to stop treating social media like it's a mirror that we're holding up to judge our own reflection. Instead, we need to start treating it like a museum. Think about it, a gallery full of interesting things to look at that we can observe, maybe appreciate, and then just walk away from.
And the difference between these two mindsets, it's night and day. When you're in the mirror mindset, your brain just automatically starts judging. Why don't I look like that? Or why isn't my life like that? But the museum mindset, it completely changes that internal voice. It becomes, that's an interesting picture. Or, wow, good for them. You observe it, but you don't attach your own value to it.
Oh man, this quote is the perfect analogy. It's so true. When you're walking through an art museum, you don't look at a masterpiece and start feeling bad that you're not made of oil and canvas, right? No, you appreciate its beauty, think about what it means, and then you just move on to the next painting. That's the exact energy we need to bring to our social media feeds.
Okay, so the concept makes sense. But how do we actually do it? How do we make that switch from mirror to museum in our everyday life? Let's break down the actual practical steps.
It really comes down to two simple, actionable steps. First, there's the internal work. You have to consciously practice that mindset shift every time you're scrolling. You see a post, and you actively think to yourself, this is just an exhibit in the museum. Then, step two is the external work. You got to curate your museum, and we call this part the brain protector.
And let's be really clear about this. Actively hitting unfollow or mute on accounts that consistently make you feel bad, that's not being petty, it's not mean, it is essential digital hygiene. You are the curator of your own mental space, and you have every right to remove the stuff that's bad for you. It's pure self-protection.
In fact, why wait? Let's turn this idea into action right now. I want to give you a little challenge, something you can literally do in the next 5 minutes to put this whole thing into practice and take back control.
We're calling it the feed scrub. And the goal is simple. Open whatever social media app you use the most, and for a few minutes, become an active curator. Don't just sit there and passively consume whatever the algorithm decides to show you. No, you're in charge now. Your mission is super simple and totally doable. Find and unfollow or mute just 10 accounts. That's it. 10 accounts that, whenever you see their posts, they trigger that mirror feeling, that judgment or insecurity. Just 10. You can totally do that. Now, if you get to an account and you're kind of on the fence about it, here's the ultimate tiebreaker question you need to ask yourself. Look at their life and ask, would I trade my entire life for theirs? And I mean everything, not just the good stuff,
the hidden struggles, the private trauma, the stress, all of it.
And you'll find that when you're truly, deeply honest with yourself, the answer is almost always a hard no. Because you wouldn't trade your story, your memories, your friends, your entire journey, the good and the bad, for theirs. And realizing that, it instantly breaks the spell of comparison.
Because at the end of the day, you are the director of your own museum. You get to decide what hangs on the walls of your mind. You have the power to create a space that inspires you and educates you and makes you laugh, instead of one that makes you feel small. So the only question left is, what are you going to choose to display?